Good afternoon. This is Ivan Maro. Guys, on my show I made about the SHL. Yeah. Ivan, what are the chances you start in that league? It's not that high. Chances are I'm going to be a movie star with VJ guys. That's my dream. Right? I want to be a movie star. It's better glory. It's less risky. I don't have to worry about flopping as an actor. As long as my acting's pretty good and I put on a show, I mean, yeah, because the pro hockey thing is risky, man. I don't want to put $33 into the league in the first season. I'm an average player, but I can get better as a player. But like for the league to really make its money, I have to be a star player. Yeah, seeing me play hockey's glory, but if I'm not productive on that, I'm not scoring goals. No one's talking about me in the league. The whole league buzzes about Ivan. Ivan flops his first season as a player. I score like 5 goals. I have like 20 points, and like I flop, man. But I have the genes. If I train, I should be an amazing player, obviously. Sir, I have the genes of God. You guys saw my hockey. Yeah, if that's you with no training, you're an amazing player. Yeah. I have the genes of God, right? Yeah. I have the genes of God, obviously. Yeah. I fucking work tomorrow, man. Ugh, I don't want to work. But I have no choice. I need the money or I'm fucking poor. Yeah. Ivan, which one of the answers about the CFL do you think is right? I think it's the answer is the Canadian talent. The CFL is just too blind to see it. Obviously, they're blinded by the American talent. The answer is their homegrown Canadian talent. That's the answer. I believe if you market the franchise quarterbacks, it won't be an overnight success, but in 15, 20 years, the league can grow to like a 500 million a year business. Or I could be wrong, and the fans of Canada just don't care about Canadian football. But the fact that all the university games sell out for the football games, like all the school, they like thousands of students go to see the players play, and the students know these players got drafted. There is a bigger market with a Canadian talent. Obviously, yeah, you just have to market them well. But the CFL thinks that the quality dips a little bit by like 2% because the entertainment value went down a little bit for the game. Less people tune in because it's not as entertaining football, and the brand, the CFL brand could tank, and the league can dip in revenue. Obviously, but it's not about the entertainment value of the game, CFL, because you're putting on amazing quality football, almost as good as the NFL, not the NFL, and yet no one in Canada cares. So it's like, obviously, it's not about the entertainment value of your game, right? Yeah, because I've watched many CFL games in my life, and they're very entertaining football games. Like I'm shocked the CFL is not doing 600 million, at least 550, 500 million a year in revenue. It's only peaking at 300 million. And the American players CFL are putting on a show, but I know why, because even though the CFL games they're very entertaining football, these American players, even though they're putting on a show, I don't know anything about them, and I can't resonate with them because I know this is not their dream, and I can't resonate with these guys. So I don't really care about these guys that much, right? Because I know that they never really want to be here. Obviously, yeah, and you even see some star players in the press conference. They talk about NFL opportunities and all that stuff. Like the press is like, yeah, will you take an NFL opportunity and all that stuff? Yeah, yeah. Right now, my home is here. Like, so it's tough to take the league seriously, right? They never really want to be here. Some of them are using the league as a farm to get an NFL shot. Obviously, yeah. Life is a CFL minor league. It's not a minor league. No, it's its own pro league up here in Canada because the American talent playing in the CFL is not the best talent in the States, and a lot of the players use the CFL as a farm league to get an NFL shot. That's why a lot of people see it as a minor league, because the American players playing in the CFL, don't hate me guys, are not the best players in America. That's why people see it as a minor league. Obviously, because the brand, even though it's amazing, it's not the best product in the States. It's the leftover product in the States. Don't hate me guys, I'm saying, yeah, that's just the truth. Or was the Canadian players are actually the greatest talent in Canada. They're the greatest football. No, you have the greatest American players in the NFL, the greatest European players in Europe, the greatest Japanese players in Japan. The Canadian players drafted C4 are the greatest players in Canada, from Canada home, the greatest talent ever, obviously. But the American guys in C4 runs up, even though they're very amazing, they're fucking amazing players, they're not the best talent in America. They're the leftover guys who didn't get their NFL opportunity or who are not good enough for the NFL, right? Don't hate me guys, I'm saying, yeah. Yeah. That's why the CFL is kind of seen as a minor league to you Americans, right? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of seen as a minor league. Yeah, because a lot of these American players, see where he's up here, use our pro league as a farm league to get another. They use it as a farm league to get another NFL shot, and those are the people the CFL tries to market and sell to the Canadian people, and they expect consistent growth with players who are not even consistent, man. Like they kill it up here, you market them, you expect these fans to love these guys, and then some of these you never hear from these guys. At least in the NFL, you bring up another guy, and you have the same process over and over again. And the CFL wonders why the league's not growing. It's a very weird way CFL are growing your league to expect consistent growth, but you can't resonate with these American guys. What are these guys? I'm saying, yeah. All you can hear about is, yeah, I mean, you got a good point there, man. Like, it does piss us off when we lose. Yeah, man. Like, the fans love these American players, and they just leave to the NFL. So it's like, and it finally hits the fans. Yeah, they use our fucking pro to get an NFL shot. Obviously, with the Canadian players, you don't have to worry about that CFL, right? You don't have to worry about that with the Canadian players. Yes, some Canadian players will take NFL opportunities, but like you'll be lucky to get maybe 2 Canadian star players going to the NFL, and all the other star Canadian players will stay. And if the league grows to $500 CFL and the cap's at $9 million, obviously the Canadian players will decline NFL opportunities. They're not going to go to the NFL. They're making more enough money here, and their dreams playing here in CFL. It's not playing in the NFL. Yeah. Why? So the Canadian football players playing in Canada, their dreams not playing in the NFL. No, their dreams playing here. But because the NFL is the best of the best, if they get an opportunity in the NFL, some of them will take it. Obviously, you might as well take it for the heck of it, right? The money's better there. It's the best pro football league in the world. But they don't really care. Their dreams playing here, man. That's their dream. If I can be a star up here and be a legend up here, I'm happy with that, man. Their dreams playing here. The Canadian football league is for the Canadians. That's why the CFL drafts the best Canadian players. But they close the doors on them and they just bring up all these leftover guys from the States to be the stars up here. We're not the best players in America. Don't hate me, guys. I'm saying, yeah. And obviously, people in Canada don't care that much about these guys, right? Don't hate me, guys. I'm saying, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. That's why you don't resonate with the CFL legends. Like, yeah, I can't resonate with these guys. Even though a lot of them stayed up here and they killed up here, and I respect what they did up here and their legends up here, I know this was not their dream, man. Their dream's not playing here, man. So it's tough to resonate with a CFL legendary player they become a legend in the league they never wanted to play in. They only played in that league by default because they didn't get their shot in their own pro league, which is the NFL. That's why they're here. Had they went to the NFL CFL, you never would have seen any of these guys, man. So it's very weird to me personally. That's personally how I feel, anyways. And all you can hear about is, yeah, it's a bit weird. Like, they're legends up here, and they killed up here, respectfully they up here and everything, but, like, they never want to be here, guys. Their dream's not playing here, man. Their dream's playing in the NFL. CFL is the afterthought, right? Obviously, no American player dreams of playing in the CFL, man. They don't care about the CFL, the American players. They want to play in the NFL. They're only here because they want to play pro football, but they didn't get their opportunity in the States. That's why they're here. The CFL is an afterthought. They're here by default, right? Obviously, that's why it's tough for me to resonate with these American players and see who raise up here. Obviously, yeah. See who doesn't care. Like, we don't care, man. Like, we don't care if they ever want to be here. Their dream is not playing here. When they grow a little leave, they'll stay up here and they get to be Legend of the League, and that's what we're a league guy. Yeah, well, you've been bringing up these American guys for, like, I don't know, 70 years of CFL history. You've been bringing up all these American guys, marking them the Canadian people. You're putting on entertaining quality football almost because the NFL. Not the NFL is not almost because the NFL, and yet no one in Canada cares about your games. So obviously something's not right. Obviously. Yeah. So I mean, even players who have legendary careers, like some quarterbacks, they left to the NFL. They just leave to the NFL after they have legendary careers in the CFL. They just leave when they get their NFL shot. And the fans love these guys. They market these guys as Canadian people, and they just leave to the NFL. So there's no consistency, obviously, with some of the players. Obviously. I told you, Warren Moon is a perfect example, right? Warren Moon played in the CFL. He killed it up here. Won 5 straight Grey Cup championships. The fans loved him. You know what I'm saying? The people were calling Warren Moon a legend. Everyone was buzzing about Warren Moon in the 70s. Obviously, I saw some of the clips on YouTube. Legendary quarterback Warren Moon. Can he win 5 Grey Cups? They're buzzing about him. And after, like, his legendary career, he actually leaves to the NFL. You don't hear from him. So it's like, and then it finally hits your mind, yeah, he used the CFL as a farm to get an NFL shot. You can't resonate with these American players, man. Obviously. These are legends in your league, CFL, right? Yeah. Doug Flutie killed up here in the CFL. God's iron opportunity, he left to the NFL. He left too, man. These are legends in your league, CFL. Yeah. Yeah, we don't care, Ivan. We don't care if they use our league as a farm league. They put on a show. This is the brand we have to sell because it's quality football. This is how we go to the league. Yeah, but you've been doing the CFL for 70 years and you're only peaking at $300 million. So obviously something's not right. Fans of Canada either just don't care about Canadian football. I think there is a little bit of a bigger market for it, but it's not with your American players. It's with your Canadian players. The fans are going to love these guys more, especially the quarterbacks, a lot more than these American guys you bring up here. As Russ Jackson is the proof. One legendary Canadian quarterback played in the CFL. They have a trophy named after him with the awards, like the Heisman in the States. For the University Awards, they have a trophy, the Russ Jackson Award. Yeah. Like, you have to be very respected to have a trophy named after you, man. You have a fucking trophy named after him. Trophy. And yet, Russ Jackson is not the greatest CFL quarterback in history. No, the greatest CFL quarterback in history is Anthony Calvillo. He put up 80,000 yards, about 80,000 yards in his career. He's a legendary quarterback in the CFL. And yet, there is no Anthony Calvillo award, but there's a Russ Jackson award. The fans love Russ Jackson more than even Anthony Calvillo. And he's the greatest quarterback in CFL history. That's why it's tough to take the league seriously, obviously. You would think the greatest quarterback in the CFL would have a trophy named after him. But yet, like, no one really cares that much about these CFL legends. They care way more about the Canadian guys. Yeah. It's almost like the answer's right in front of your eyes, right? Yeah, I mean, that's funny. Like, the greatest quarterback in CFL history is Anthony Calvillo. He put up like 80,000 yards in his 20-year career in the CFL. And Russ Jackson, even though he's a legendary quarterback, he wasn't the greatest quarterback in CFL history. He only has about like 28,000 yards in his career. But yet he's that one. He's the one quarterback who happens to be Canadian who has a trophy named after him about the awards. But Matt Dunnigan and Doug Flutie and Ricky Ray and Al Haymon, they don't have trophies named after them. They don't have a trophy named after them. Because the fans don't really care about these American legends that much. Obviously, compared to the way they care about the Canadian guys. Like, duh, it's common sense. That's how you know. I want to really care about the American guys because they know this was not their dream, man. They're American players who only played here by default because they didn't get an NFL shot. Had they been in the NFL, they never would have been here. This is not, the Canadian football fans are not stupid, man. They know these American guys' dream is not playing here. Their dream is playing in the NFL. So it's like, it's tough to resonate with these guys, right? I don't hear the guys from saying, yeah, I hear Jesus, I know. Some Sarah? Yeah, I mean, the fans must really respect Russ Jackson. Ivan, you have something called the Heisman in the NCAA, right? You have something like that for Canada, for the football awards, university football awards. You have the Russ Jackson Award. They have an award named after him, like a big, nice, shiny award. When the players compete for the awards at the university awards, they have the Russ Jackson Award, and all these other amazing American legends who even put up much better numbers than Russ Jackson. There is no award made after those guys. Yeah, that's why I can't take the league seriously, obviously, because I can't take the CFL league seriously. I just can't take the league seriously. We see what you're saying, man. You can't take the league seriously. The CFL, like the draft's a crapshoot. You know what I'm saying? And like all these legends in your league are, even though they kill up here, they respect what they did up here. I know their dream was not really playing here, and in some of those legends, when you hype about them in their prime, when they're killing up here, they lead to the NFL. It's just like, you can't really take the league seriously, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's funny, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Would the Canadian players be happy if they got rid of the American talent? Of course they would. They now could be stars. They'd be jumping for joy. Oh my God! Like, they got rid of the American talent. We can now all start up here. Obviously, but it's never going to happen. Obviously, CFL doesn't think the Canadian players are good enough to put on the quality of Canada. And I saw Trey Ford's highlights on YouTube, and Trey Ford was putting on a show on television as a Canadian quarterback. Brandon Bridge, Nathan Rourke. Obviously, we're putting on a show on television, right? Yeah. Good enough for me. I mean, it's good quality, but it's not like I know it's not like the American guys CFL, but I mean, You've been bringing up these American guys and you're not seeing much growth. So obviously something's not right. Obviously. Here's the thing though, if you get rid of the American talent, Ivan, if you do this, Ivan, you're gonna crush the American players, Ivan, who are playing in the league. You're gonna crush them, Ivan. They can't play pro football anymore. Obviously. Well, they can play in the Arena Football League and the USFL, whatever it is, they can play there. That's still pretty good, right? It's not bad. Yeah, Ivan, like, fuck you, man. We don't want to play there, Ivan. Like, after the NFL, the CFL is number 2 after the NFL. These American players don't want to play there, obviously, because those are not pro leagues. Those are minor leagues. No one really cares about those leagues, right? They're minor leagues. But if you can have a successful career, that's still pretty good, right? It's still success. You're still making quite a good money there, don't you? So, yeah. 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 So if the league got rid of the American talent and they marketed homegrown Canadian talent, and in like 15 years the league is doing 500 million revenue, yeah, all the American players are gonna be crushed who played up here, and they're gonna be jealous, obviously, of the success of the league because of the Canadian players, obviously. Yeah, even though we're a bit more talented Canadian players, the fans love them a lot more than us. Yes, guys, because they're homegrown talent, they're from here. You guys are not from here. They don't know anything about you guys. And they know your dream was not playing here. You're only here by default, guys. Go ahead. So, yeah. So, Sarah? Yeah. They may not be as talented as American guys and Canadian players, but the fans love them more, obviously, than American guys. Yeah. Or it won't make a difference, or it could even flop and the league even dips in revenue with the Canadian talent. I could be wrong, guys. I'm not going to say I could be right. But something tells me I'm right. Like, if you market the Canadian quarterbacks and the Canadian receivers, more people in Canada will be more invested in your league. And the more people will tune in. And in 15, 20 years, the CFL could do $550 million a season in revenue. They can raise the cap to $9 million, pay these players more money. And now you're actually going to get like a lot of Canadian legends in your league, CFL, Canadian quarterback legends. And this quarterback break Matt Dunnigan or Anthony Harvey's record, and that Canadian quarterback breaks the record, and like the fans are gonna love him. They're gonna love these Canadian quarterbacks. As Russ Jackson is the proof, right? One legendary Canadian quarterback, they have a trophy now, but the awards. There is no Matt Dunnigan or Anthony Harvey awards. And these guys were put up more numbers than even Russ Jackson in their career. Fans love Russ Jackson more, obviously, than those guys when they put up more numbers. You would think the fans would respect Matt Dunnigan and Anthony Arvilo even more than Russ Jackson because those guys put up more numbers, and yet they don't. They respect Russ Jackson even more than Matt Dunnigan and Anthony Arvilo, and those guys put up more numbers than Russ Jackson. Obviously, that's why I can't take the CFL seriously, because I can't take the league seriously, obviously. I can't wrestle these American guys. Yeah, and that's funny. Like Russ Jackson didn't put up the numbers that Matt Dunnigan and Anthony Arvilo and Rick Ray put up in their careers, and yet they have a trophy named after them. They don't have a trophy named after those guys. Yeah, they respect Russ Jackson even more than those guys. I know why, because he's Canadian, man. He's homegrown talent, man. He's Canadian. Yeah, it's a bias, right? Yeah. And they know these great American quarterbacks, legendary quarterbacks who play up here, even though they respect them, they love it up here, obviously. Their dream was not playing here. That's why I don't really resonate with these American CFL legends, because I know their dream was not playing here. Obviously, they're only here by default. Obviously. Yeah. That's why when they do documentaries, sometimes about like CFL legendary quarterbacks. Obviously, you're always gonna get that thing with the quarterbacks whereby they say because the players are now had legendary career in the CFL. Obviously, when they talk about their career in the CFL, obviously they kind of dance around like about the CFL being their dream. Their dream is not playing here, obviously. They'll say like I had an NFL opportunity. I didn't get an NFL opportunity, and I got an opportunity to play role over here. Yeah, they're letting you know CFL. They say it in such a way whereby they don't want to disrespect the CFL, but like they're obviously letting you know that their dream's not playing here. The American guys, right? All these American guys who killed up here at CFL are not. Their dream was not playing here. They're only here by default, right? They're here because they didn't get their NFL shot. Obviously, yeah, but I get it. When they became CFL stars and the fans love them, they stayed up here. I get that. But like, this was still not their dream. CFL. Their dream is not playing here, man. The Americans. Their dream is playing in the NFL. Sarah. But I could be wrong, guys. Maybe the Canadian talent is even worse. Maybe the Canadian talent, the league flops, and the league even dips in revenue, perhaps. You never know, right? Because the quality dipped a little bit. Yeah, because the quality dipped a little bit, it's not as the entertainment value went down of the brand, the CFL brand. Less people be interested in the games because it's not as entertaining. Yeah, but I don't think it's about the quality of your game, CFL. It's not about the quality of your game because you're putting on quality football for decades. This is not like 10, 20 years CFL. This is like 70 years of high quality football, bringing up all these American guys, having the stars up here. Obviously, and yet you're only peaking at $300 million a season after 70 years of CFL history. Ivan, you're struggling with growth, obviously. CFL, struggling with growth. It's not that popular in Canada, man. Yeah. They will tell me, Ivan, no, we can't do that. We believe it's because of the American talent the league has gotten to this level, Ivan. Obviously. So you want to grow the league with the American talent, the majority of stars being the American players. Yes, Ivan. Okay, what's your business strategy, guys, of taking this thing to the next level to $500, $600 in 15, 20 years? But this is how much your league should be doing, guys, in revenue. You should be making at least $500 plus million a season in revenue, guys. $300 million is a joke, guys, for a pro league. You should be doing your $500, $600 a year in revenue, and you're only peaking at $300. Obviously, after 70 years, 70 plus years of CFL history, what's your business strategy of growing the league, taking the league to the next level with the American talent, guys? Because you market all these American quarterbacks on TSN, American linebackers, running backs, receivers, and no one in Canada cares about your games. So, what's your business strategy? And they'll tell me either we don't know, because they've been marketing these guys for decades, and no one really cares in Canada. We don't know either. Obviously. Yeah, so you know what I'm saying is true. Or the reason why you're struggling with your CFL because the fans in Canada just don't care about Canadian football. That's the other answer. Obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Asking Sarah. They would ask me, what do you think is our league's peak? Your league peak is probably 600 million, and if you have a really, really good year, you can even peak at 700 million. I don't think anything over 700 million dollars. I don't think the CFL will peak any higher than that because the market in Canada, the market demand in Canada for football is not that big compared to hockey. So you're never going to make your billion in CFL, but you can peak at your 600, 650 million dollars, even 700 million dollars. Probably 600 million dollars is an accurate projection for your peak. That's what I'll tell the Board of Governors. But they will tell me, no, we're not going to do that. I'm like, yeah, I know why you're not going to do that, because the bias has been going on since the league started. You're blinded by the American talent. I'm not fucking kidding around, guys. If we don't do this, I'm stepping down and see. I don't want to be a CFL commissioner. I can't find any other way to grow your league, man. To take this into the next level, because you tried everything you could with all these amazing American guys, and no one in Canada cares about your games, regardless of your quality. So it's not about the quality of your game. It's something else, obviously. Either there is no market for football in Canada, which could be true, or there is a bigger market for it, but it's with your Canadian talents, not with the American talent. They have higher marketability. A lot of people in college know these kids. You saw them play at university, and all of the games sell out at the university games in Canada. So it's a bigger market to tap into. Yeah, we know about them, but they're not. Yeah, I know they're not as talented, but it's still good quality football. All that matters is it good enough quality football for the people of Canada? That's the question you have to ask yourself, right? Is it good enough quality football for the people of Canada? And my answer is it is good enough quality, more than good enough quality football for the people of Canada. But the CFL it's just blind by American eye. We don't think it's good enough. We have the best Canadian players in Canada play. It's not, the quality will decline a little bit. It's not as entertaining football. Because it's not as entertaining football, less people in Canada will tune in to the games. But I'm like, no, guys, it's not about the quality of your game, man. Trust me, if you market the Canadian quarterbacks at the universities and on TSN and everything, even though the quality did a little bit, the fans are going to love these Canadian quarterbacks, guys. Russ Jackson's the proof, right? Here we go. Yeah. 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 I could be wrong, guys. It could flop, right? Because the quality will dip a little bit with the Canadian talent, less people in Canada will tune in. Maybe the ratings will even go down. Because the quality, the entertainment value of the CFL brand went down, because the Canadian players, even though they're very amazing players, they don't put on a show the way the American. Yeah, even like they're not talented enough. No, they're talented enough CFL. They're just not on the NFL's level, right? Yeah, that's your problem right now. Yeah. 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 So the CFL is the only pro league, obviously, whereby they draft the best players in the country, but they're not satisfied with the talent that they draft. They just choose to bring talent from a different country, players who are leftovers, who are not the best players in America, and have them be the stars and legends up here over their own draft picks. The only pro league that has this issue, has this problem, obviously. Yeah, man, it's been going on for like 70+ years up here in Canada, man. My fucking country, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Is it really serious? Oh yeah, it's so serious that everyone in the league has to keep their lips sealed about it. Like the news reporters, even the news reporters who speak at the games, they talk about players getting injured and everything, and all that stuff, and the people on TSN and everything, they know about the bias. Not stupid, but they have to keep their lips sealed, obviously. They could lose their jobs, right? Yeah. Obviously, it's part of the rule, right? I'm not serious. Oh yeah, it's serious shit. how bad is it? There's no hope for the Canadian players in the CFL. That's how bad. There's no hope for those guys, man. No hope for the draft picks. There's no hope for these guys, man. It's like hopeless, right? That's why all these guys are bust picks. And they just retire. So they bounce around teams. They have like 40, 50 career special teams tackles, maybe 2 defensive tackles, 1 sack. They're on a practice roster and they play for like 4, 5, 6 years and they just retire. Second, first, third round picks, fourth round picks, and the 5th, 6th, 7th round picks. A lot of those guys get released, or they're on a practice roster, and because they're on a practice roster for a couple of years, they just retire the Canadian players. That's the American bias, right? We're all bust picks because the league closes the doors. We don't care if we close those Canadian players, Ivan. They're not talented enough. The American way is the way to go, Ivan. This is how we grow the league. Very weird way of growing the league, obviously, with players who never want to be here, whose dream is not playing here, and some of these players use your CFL as a farm to get an NFL shot. And all you American CFL players don't talk. Yeah, Ivan, you're right. Some of us are using the CFL to get. Yeah, we want to get an NFL shot. Yes, you're using the CFL to get an NFL shot. Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of them do stay, though, and I respect that. All you American guys in CFL who stay up in the CFL, I do respect that. They grow to love the league, they love the fans, and they stay up here. And they have an amazing career up here, and they kill it up here. And some of them become CFL legends, a huge success, obviously. But I told you, even though like they killed up here in the CFL legends, it's tough for me to resonate with these guys, man. Because their dream was not playing here. So I'm saying, oh, hey, guys, I'm saying, yeah. 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 I do have deep wisdom, yes I do. You know how to blow our minds away, I know. I have the wisdom of God. Yeah. All the Canadian role players in CFL, I didn't know that, man. All that makes sense. That's why all those draft picks are not stars. Yes, guys, the reason why you guys are not stars, CFL doesn't trust you guys. That's why you're not stars. They don't think you're good enough to put on good quality. They don't think you're a good enough brand to sell to the Canadian people. That's why they bring up all the American guys. That's why the CFL does it. Yeah, that's why we do that. It's not good enough. We don't trust the Canadian players. Yeah, to put on good enough quality football for the people in Canada. Their television ratings, right? That's why they bring up all the American guys who are not even draft picks. They're undrafted players from another league who never want to be here and their dreams on playing here. Very weird way of growing the league, right? Yeah, man. But I do understand the American guys who didn't make it in the NFL, they do want to play. Yeah, even like the American guys who did not make it in the NFL, they want to play pro football. Even yeah, I get that, CFO. So you care. I get that, CFO. So you care more about the American guys who are not even from here, whose dreams aren't playing here, to play pro football over your own Canadian draft picks, who are Canadian. Like you care more about the players from a different country playing pro football over your own Canadian draft picks who you drafted. It's a very weird way of thinking, CFL. all because of your blindness of the American talent. Yeah, we're blind by the American talent. We care more about the American guys who did not make the NFL to play football up here, even though they never want to be here. They're just not playing here over our own draft pick side. We care more about the American guys, Ivan. That's the way to go. We don't really care about the Canadian guys. Shut up, Ivan. Yeah, we don't care if they're bust picks. If they retire, well, they're not good enough, Ivan. We've got to have these American guys. Yeah, the team doesn't care, obviously. Yeah. They love the American talent, right? That's not word. I mean, that's a cold one, I know. Obviously. Yeah. 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 Ivan, do a lot of Canadian star players in CFL become legends? No, even the star players, most of them don't become legends because they have stint careers. They might peak at a high level for maybe 4 years, 4 seasons, and their performance dips. They replace them with an American guy, and then that Canadian guy retired. So even though they had really good seasons as stars, they're no longer stars anymore, and they just retire. They're not legends because the Canadian players have shorter windows in the CFL. There is a few of them who become legends, but it's very rare, man, to have Canadian players become legends. Well, no, man, it's all the American guys, except for the old lineman, right? Quite a bit of Canadian lineman becomes a legend, but old lineman is not a skill position. Yeah. The only successful position, pretty successful position for the Canadian players in CFL is the lineman. A lot of most teams start 4 to 5 Canadian linemen in the CFL. Those are like the majority of the star players. That's how it works. And the skill positions is all the American guys. That's how it works. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. I know the lineman, right? The Canadian lineman, yeah. Do the Canadian players put on a show in the CFL, the star players? Oh yeah, they do. The star Canadian players also put on a show too on television too. When I compare the star Canadian players with the star American players, I don't see that much of a difference. If it makes that much of a difference, the Americans are just a little bit more athletic in most cases, and the Canadians are a bit more raw. But the Canadian players also put on a show in the CFL. But they're a little bit more raw in the way they play in most cases. The American guys are a bit more athletic, obviously. Yeah. But they're putting on a show on television, obviously, right? Yeah. Almost other guys. You see, it was just like, I know. Yeah. Yeah. The situation's so serious, you can actually make a documentary about it, about the bias, the American bias in the CFL. There was a documentary with the Toronto Argonauts back in 2011. I saw it on YouTube. They did a documentary about the Toronto Argonauts with the behind the scenes of training camp. The Toronto Argonauts, obviously, and in the documentary they said yeah, this Canadian defensive lineman performed very well, but because of the ratio rule, he was the odd man out. And you see the GM, he brings in the Canadian D lineman, and that Canadian D lineman got released because of the ratio American bias nonsense. They even said that in the documentary. It's actually funny. They released the Canadian D lineman, and the Canadian D lineman was crushed, obviously. Yeah. And you also saw the GM. All the players who got released in the CFL, they were obviously crushed. The Canadian guys and some of the American guys were crushed, obviously. It's one thing to get released in the NFL. It's another thing to get released in the NFL and the CFL. Like, you got released in both leagues. Like, yeah, that's why the American players who do get released in the CFL and training camp and the CFL, they get crushed too, because now they have nowhere else to play pro football, obviously, except for the Arena Football League. But no one wants to play in the Arena Football League, right? Or the UFL, whatever it is. Those are all minor leagues in the States, right? Yeah. But if someone did make a documentary about this, the CFL would probably sue them for defamation. They probably get sued, man. The CFL's crazy, yeah. That's all serious shit is, right? Yeah. 70 years of like CFL history the CFL's been doing this, man. 70 plus years, since the early 50s, right? When the league started. Obviously. Is the CFL an older league than the NFL? The CFL and the NFL started officially around the same time, but like before the CFL was officially a league, they had players competing for the cup and everything before the league became an official league, but they were just playing for fun. But even when they were playing for fun before the CFL officially started in the early 50s, when the NFL started, even then they brought up all these American guys. Like in the 40s and the 30s, they've been bringing up all these American guys, man, the CFL. Yeah, before it became an official league in the early 50s. Yeah, they've been bringing up these American guys, man, for decades, man. It's a bias, right? It's been passed on to the league. Yeah, man. Yeah, Ryan, you could be wrong. Yes, guys, I could be wrong. Maybe the American, even though I think I'm not wrong, the American talent might be the way to go with the CFL, because they put on higher, they put on higher quality football on television in a Canadian football league in Canada. But I mean, the CFL's been bringing up these guys, and they're only peaking at $300 a season revenue. So I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe the American talent is the way to go, because the Canadian players are not as talented as the American guys. I could be wrong. Obviously. Yeah. That's Messiah. Yeah. Wyvern, do you really believe the American talent is the key to growing the league? No, I don't, because the CFL's been bringing up these guys for like 70 plus years of CFL history, and they're putting on high. You would think the American players putting on high quality football, the league would be doing 500, 600 million revenue, but yet it's not. So obviously, I don't think the American talent is the way to go, because the CFL's been doing this for decades. They're struggling with growth, man. They're only peaking at $300 million a season. Yeah. They can't get any higher than that. Obviously. So the fans in Canada obviously don't really care about these American star players that CFL brings up, and they don't really care about these guys that much. I'll hate the guys for saying, yeah. I know I'm a dick, all you American guys, but sometimes it's good to speak the truth, right? Obviously, the fans in Canada don't really care about these American star players. That's why no one is watching the games, man. The CFL should be averaging at least a million people, a million, 1.1, 1.2 million people watching each game. They should be peaking at maybe 2.5 million people watching in a season. And they're trying to get to that because they want that bigger TSN deal. They want more. Yeah, if you want more money. Yeah, if you want more money from TSN, your ratings have to go up. CFL. Otherwise, the TSN will not give you guys any more money, right? That's what I'll tell the world. Yeah, if you want TSN to give you guys more money, you guys should be averaging a million, at least a million people watching a game. Your viewership should be doubling. You should be peaking at maybe 2.5 million people watching your on average your season games. And for your Grey Cup, you should try to push for that 15 plus million people in Canada watching, and then you guys are doing good. And you should be selling out too for all your games, right? If you want your teams to be profitable. That's the key. You have to sell for all your games. Obviously. So it's the television ratings. Yeah, it's all about the television ratings. Obviously, that's like the bulk of the league's money, right? Well, for the CFL, a lot of the league's money is the season ticket holders, obviously. But television ratings are very important for a pro league, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Did you always have that issue with the American players? Yes. Ever since I watched CFL. Well, when I watched CFL in the 90s, or late 90s and early 2000s, I was ignorant. I didn't know about the rules and everything with the CFL, obviously. But as I got older, I studied the league. I studied how it worked with the ratio. You start 7 Canadian players, and you know what I'm saying, and they draft the best Canadian players. I studied the league, obviously, and I always had this. I was always like, yeah, I don't get it. Like, all these guys are getting drafted, but barely any of them are stars. What the fuck's going on here? And I always had that hope that these Canadian players can shine, the draft picks, but they never shine, and all these American guys are shining up here, obviously. And every time when the league interviewed the players and I saw the players making plays and everything, yeah, they're putting on a show on television, but like, I never really resonate with these American guys. I know their dream was not playing here, man. That's how I feel personally. I just don't resonate with these guys. I can't. Because I know their dream's not playing here, man. So it's tough to resonate with those players, right? That's just how I feel personally when I watch the games. Like, they're amazing talent putting on a show, but like, they're from a different country. They never want to be here. They're only here by default. Their dream's not playing here. And it's like, you can't resonate with these American players, right? So it's tough for me to want to resonate with these guys. That's how I feel personally. Yeah. Yeah. You're a genius, I know. Yeah, man. Why? Do you think you're being a bit too harsh on the CFL? I know I'm being harsh on the CFL, but the CFL, I don't mean to be rude, the CFL does deserve to be exposed. Because they're just blind, man. What they're doing is cold, man. They draft the best players, but like, they're all bust pigs. They're not stars. They just have these American guys shot up here. They've been doing this for 70 years. Obviously, drafting all the best players in Canada for 70 years, and barely any of them are stars. They're all bust picks. And all these American guys who are not the best players in America, I don't hate the guys, and they're all the stars up here. Yeah. Ivan, what if the CFL was a $500 million a year business by now, and they brought the American talent? Then I would understand. Okay, even though I would love to see these Canadian guys play, it's because the American talent league is not making $600 million. I would understand. Even though I love to have these Canadian guys shine up here, the Canadian players, the American players put on more of a show, and because they're entertaining quality football, the value of the brand went up. It's not making $500, $600 a year in revenue. I would understand, but the league is not doing that. The league is peaking at $300. It's struggling with growth, so obviously something's not right, right? Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Why do the CFL fans love the American soccer players? Oh yeah, they do. They love them. Obviously, they love the American soccer players. They do. When they become stars, they love the players. Obviously, fans love them. Obviously, yeah. But I told you, even though the fans love them and everything, obviously, the rest of Canada don't really care about these guys that much because no one's tuning into your game, CFL. Yes, you're sold out crowds in your CFL games. The fans love these guys, but on television, these guys are putting on a show, and you're marking them on TSN, like you know what I'm saying, CFL on TSN, Sunday 9 o'clock, Winnipeg Pumas versus the Montreal Alouettes, and you see like the picture of the quarterbacks, and they market these guys to Canadian people, and they somehow hope the league grows. Yeah, CFL, you're marketing these guys to Canadian people. People can't know anything about these guys, man. Like they're from a different country, okay? They don't know anything about these guys. The CFL just hopes their league somehow grows because they're putting on a show. But I mean, yeah, they're American property in the country, CFL. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. As TSN is the biggest sports channel in Canada. It's number one sport channel in Canada. So when the CFL markets, when they say like CFL on TSN, and you see the pictures of the quarterbacks and everything, millions of fans see that, but yet they don't care. They're not tuning into the games, obviously. So obviously they don't really care about these American star players, right? That's my answer. They don't really care about these guys that much. Oh, hey, guys, I'm saying, yeah, yeah. Or they just don't care about Canadian football. That could be true, right? Yeah. I will tell the board of government, hey, Ivan, what's your answer? Whoa, 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 whoa. Why do you think our league's not growing? I have two answers. You're the fans of Canada just don't care about Canadian football, which could be true. They just don't care about Canadian football. There isn't a big market for football in Canada, or there is a little bit of a bigger market for it, but it's not with your American star players. The fans of Canada only care about these American quarterbacks you're marketing them. They don't care about these guys, obviously, because they're unfamiliar with the product they're trying to sell. Regardless of how talented they are, they don't care about them, obviously. In other words, talent is not really the issue. It's more of the nationality of the talent, obviously playing in your league. Or the fans of Canada just don't care about Canadian football. That's my other answer. I could be wrong, right? Because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Canadian talent isn't the answer. Maybe it doesn't make a difference. Maybe it can even flop and the league revenue dips. I could be wrong, guys, right? Yeah, Ivan, you could be wrong. Yes, I could be wrong, guys. I'm going to admit I could be wrong. I could be wrong, right? Yeah. All the CFL head coaches, yeah, Ivan, you're wrong, man. It won't make a difference, man. If you have the Canadian talent play, we think the league revenue will dip, Ivan, because the quality's not as good. Ivan, obviously. It could flop, Ivan. League revenue can dip, Ivan. Yeah, that's why CFL will never do that. Oh, yeah, we're not going to do it, Ivan, man. The league revenue can dip. Canadian players are not talented enough, Ivan. They're not good enough. Yeah, it's sad, man. You downgrade your own draft picks, the best players in your country. You downgrade them. because you envy another country's talent. It's sad, man. Alright, that's cold, man. No. Well, hopefully the CFL can grow, right? Don't hate me, guys, for saying. Hope you guys know my deep wisdom of the CFL. It's Iron Man saying, peace out, guys. Hope you guys will show up out of there.